E3, we had a bunch of shows, but for the most part, I think everyone's really just talking about two of them. It's just Microsoft and Nintendo, because we had Square, we had Capcom, we had Ubisoft, and I think for the most part, all right, so if we had to throw out the other one, like move Nintendo and Microsoft to the side, which conference after them was the best one?
Limited run.
Limited run, true, but I'd say of typical conferences, Ubisoft still sucks, but I feel like Ubisoft, at least, I do think Far Cry 5 looks or Far Cry 6 looks pretty good. So it's a big gap, but there's Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, yeah. Ubisoft would probably, like, if you take out, like, what's that? Devolver Digital, take
Devolver,
out them, take out them, Ubisoft, because they actually Ubisoft showed. I mean, they had the Mario plus Rabbids. That was the first time that we saw it. Was, even though it got leaked, kind of, but still, it was still.
I think they closed out. They probably had the most impactful game with. I mean, for a lot of people, Avatar is a big deal, obviously. So
Avatar game,
Yeah, they actually had a closeout. So
Rainbow 60. That game didn't look horrible. I think they just showed it for too long, but it was kind of cool.
I agree. I'm gonna play it.
Yep. And then you know what? I've been looking at Riders Republic more and more, and I think I'll try it out. Looking at it, so like I said,
though. It feels like it's a microtransaction game.
Well, that's why I need to see more about it first, but I might try it out as we get closer, and like if the reviews are decent on it. But there's a lot of snowboarding games coming back, which is interesting right now. So, but yeah, I guess Ubisoft. If I had to pick between Square, Capcom's closeout was esports. So that's like that's tough, right? So between those three, it's probably Ubisoft, I would say. Looking at it, but I guess we can start with Microsoft, because Microsoft had, I mean, they announced a lot, right? I think they had just over 30 games. I think it was like 31 games they went over.
That was good.
No Amico, come on, Farkle.
It was announcement after announcement. Like, we only heard, I think we had Todd Howard, Sarah Bond, and then Phil Spencer. I think those are the three people that talked during the show, if I'm not mistaken. But otherwise, it was just, they went from trailer to trailer. It was very quick, very seamless, and we didn't have a lot of downtime, which is good. They started off with Starfield. Starfield is coming out next year, November 11th, 2022. That is an interesting thing for them to announce a release date a year and a half out. I mean, we had, who was it? Washington Post leaked it early, but they didn't show much of Starfield here other than just an in-engine trailer, which you keep hearing in-engine, but I was kind of hoping they would have done a bit more with gameplay for it, but I guess considering it's not coming out for another year and a half, they're like, hey, you'll see it next year.
I think it's a bit safe to give it a release date that far. It's also a symbolic release date, like with Skyrim being 11/11/11 when that came out. So it's also, it just looks nice to see that on paper, and it gives people hype for it, but it's safe. It gives them a year and a half, and they don't have to be like, oh, it's coming out in January, and now we have to maybe delay it because we gave a date too early. And it was obviously different than how Bethesda's recently been doing it with their last couple games, where they've announced it and then it comes out a couple months later. So this is the first time in a while where they've truly had something so far out. But I think this is one of the first times, especially with such a big game, that you can truly feel the impacts of the last year of development. I do feel that this game was probably going to be a hope for this year, and that didn't happen because of development throughout last year. So.
But speaking of development, holy Halo Infinite, my God, biggest glow up of all of E3 was Halo Infinite. Of like the fact that they remember, it's been almost exactly a year since they showed that gameplay that was super rough, and it looks so much better. And the fact that they brought it out multiple times, like, now here's a whole multiplayer presentation, now here's a whole graphics presentation. Definitely the biggest glow up. I'm glad they came back for that.
And Nate, it looks like Starfield is indeed an Xbox and PC exclusive.
Yeah.
As I said.
Well, there was always a chance that it could have come to the other platforms. I mean,
well, you were right about something. You were right about something else in Nintendo's shows. That's why I'm saying this now. I'm taking my victory here.
I mean, it's one of those things where it really came down to release date. If Starfield did come out this year, then the chances that it was going to come to PlayStation were considerably higher. They weren't going to scrap a project that was 6 months out from release on another platform. They could have opted to go with a timed exclusive release, but as we've even seen the interviews with Pete Hines, where they keep asking him, like, how do you feel about this not coming to PlayStation? And he shows great reluctance. He is more or less implying you're still going to get some of our games on other platforms. Moving forward, yeah, this is going to become less and less common. Starfield is probably the first major release from Bethesda that we're going to see exclusive to the Xbox. Indiana Jones, we still don't know the fate of that game.
I bet you, I'll say it now, I think it's Xbox PC exclusive.
It probably is, because this is a game that's not coming out until like 2024. So it would make sense that it is Xbox exclusive.
I hope Harrison Ford is still around then.
I'm sure he will be, Sean.
He's filming Indy 5 right now.
Well, no, I mean, he's an older general. He's like, what, 80 or something?
Yeah, and he hates being alive.
Damn.
78.
Okay, he has many years ahead.
That man frowns when he wakes up. You can tell.
I mean, Starfield always felt like it was one of those on the edge releases. It really came down to the release date. It being late 2022, another 18 months of development. That's easier for a company like Microsoft to look at and say, how much money have you put into that PlayStation port? Oh, it's this amount of millions? Cancel it. We're fine with that. Let's get focus on the Xbox and PC versions. That's where we're going to make our money. But that was really the timing of basically cross. If it was going to be multi-platform, it probably had to release this year. Any window outside of 2021 was going to push it to exclusivity for the Xbox brand.
But like Elder Scrolls 6, that's going to be Xbox and PC as well.
You would imagine so, yeah. We know the Elder Scrolls Online is going to remain multi-platform because they have tons of users across all of them. They're not going to cut them off anytime soon. And we know basically any game as a service we know is going to continue to be cross-platform.
Yeah, they might even cloud stream that thing onto like the Switch at some point or something, the way Nintendo's doing with all this cloud stuff. So
maybe.
You never know. You never know. And then we did have Halo, as Max said. Do we just want to talk about Halo as I'm going down this list here? Halo Infinite got shown as multiplayer. Mostly, they showed a very small cinematic trailer that we really can't pull much from, and then they had some panning shots of the scenery and the landscape that I guess we're going to be running around in. But the multiplayer obviously is something people are curious about, and it looks good. They also did a 12-minute multiplayer overview, and it sounds like they're trying so hard to sell this to like the older Halo fans like myself, with what they were saying and what they were showing. They had a grappling hook, which looks cool, and you use the equipment whenever you want. You don't just pick it up and use it. So like there were some pretty cool things in there. It's going to be free to play, as we already knew. So there's not even going to be an Xbox Live Gold restriction at all, obviously. So that's just going to be, you just download it and play it, and it's going to have cross play, cross progression, the whole thing. So I'm ready for it.
It's a bit weird to think about this, but the fact that it seems like a lot of the major shooters are not going to have a campaign this year. Battlefield's not. It sounds like Call of Duty. We still haven't even seen Call of Duty, so we don't know. It's weird to think that this might be our one major first-person shooter single-player campaign this year. Might be Halo, which is really weird to think about.
I think Call of Duty, I think they said that Sledgehammer is working on a campaign. They seem to, I think they stressed that a bit. So I think it's going to be, I think Halo very well could have the bigger campaign overall, since they're going to try to sell the game at $60 just on the campaign, since the multiplayer is free to play. So that'll be interesting to see if they can make that work. I feel like they
Game Pass though. Like I think Xbox is like, okay, you know, if we sell some copies, that's great. If not, everyone's going to play it on Game Pass, which is what we want them to do anyway.
Yes.
So I don't think it would be a big L for them or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're doing some campaign co-op, right?
Oh yeah. We're doing some multiplayer. Oh, Sean's not. He won't do that, but we'll play multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
Multiplayer, yeah, but I love the Halo campaigns.
No.
How do we feel about microtransactions within multiplayer?
It's gonna be
just cosmetics.
It's gonna be battle passes that you have to buy, and the idea is the older battle passes you can buy, and then you just earn experience towards it and unlock cosmetic stuff.
You can buy like multiples and then select the one you want to work towards, that kind of stuff.
Or I guess just not buy a battle pass. I don't know. I guess that's how it works.
It sounds less intrusive. I mean, I don't like the idea of microtransactions, but it sounds like they're doing it in a way that people who play more are rewarded more, which I feel like is the way to do it.
Right.
I mean, it is free to play. So whenever you hear that, you go, okay, what's the catch? And I guess that's like it's certainly better than what it could have been, which would have been like loot boxes, how EA does some of their FIFA Ultimate Teams or any of that. So it's like, battle pass.
Did you hear if you get a free Charles Woodson Ultimate Team this year with Madden?
Oh, good.
We're talking about Halo still, and I was waiting like, why the fuck is Charles Woodson in Halo?
Woodson. You can use Charles Woodson in Halo too. Why not? Hey,
no, I put Ronnie Lott in there.
Here's the weird thing, though. No release date for Halo.
Oh yeah, I realize that.
Nope. I think they're just waiting because you have Call of Duty, you have Battlefield, you have big games like Horizon doesn't have a release date and stuff like that. I think they're just kind of playing the wait and see game, and maybe they don't even know because they of course said that it's just the first season of Halo's multiplayer because it's going to be evidently a 10-year thing, which I don't believe.
Yeah, I could see it as a case of they have an idea. They know the multiplayer will be ready this year. They're going to do the multiplayer flight beta relatively soon. They may just not have an idea of when they'll have that campaign ready. So they don't want to date Halo just yet, because you could come out and say the Halo multiplayer free to play is out October 18th. But the campaign won't be ready until December 2nd.
You know what they
and then
could
people
do?
Be like, whoa, wait a minute.
You know what they could do? Because they were pretty serious about not separating them and launching one without the other. They just frame the multiplayer releasing now as a beta. And then it's like, oh, now we're going to launch it and the campaign's there. This is the official launch, even though it's been out for 3 months.
You could do something like that if you decide to remove certain features and then it's fully launched with the game. Whenever later this year. It just feels as though that campaign is the one thing holding them back from slapping a release date on it right now.
It's definitely that campaign.
We've seen so little of it. That's the weirdest thing to me is they keep showing here's a wide angle shot of Halo. All right, now back to the multiplayer maps. It seems real early.
Yeah, but it's got to be that campaign that's holding everything up because the multiplayer looked pretty solid when they were showing it off. So I'm pretty much ready to get it and start playing, leveling up, going through the ranks. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
That grapple hook looks
like
a real game changer for the multiplayer.
Fun. Yeah.
That's a pickup from what they were saying. So it is
a pickup.
It shouldn't. That's what I thought they were saying. So it shouldn't be game breaking necessarily. If that's not a pickup, that's going to be interesting.
If everyone had being able to sit there and be like, oh, got you, bring you out your gun really quick, boom.
That would get out of hand, I think. So it feels like a power weapon almost is how it should be viewed.
Yeah, it'll probably have a playlist that gives it to you by default, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you'll have custom game types and all this stuff. We'll be able to like Spider-Man all over the place there. So
Spider-Man could be the new infection.
What do you think they're launching? Let's just take some guesses here. When do you think they're going to launch this multiplayer? Because we know Battlefield's October. I'll just take a guess and say Horizon's in November. Call of Duty's probably in November.
Horizon? We're talking about Forbidden West.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
early December, maybe.
I kind of want to put Halo in early October.
Early October.
I was thinking something like late September, first half of October myself.
I'm thinking Call of Duty hits a late October release. October
right next to Battlefield. They don't even care. They just kick the door in.
I mean,
I like it.
Since they haven't really showed anything off, it's possible that they'll push it till November. But didn't the last Call of Duty release in October?
I don't know. I'm playing Battlefield. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
We think
you throw Call of Duty off the cliff.
There has to be a casualty with this, though, right?
What?
Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Halo all within the same. You know what?
Let's just go ahead and announce Titanfall 3 and throw it right in there. Just get that out of the way now. It's gonna get crowded once all these shooters get announced for 30 days within each other. It's gonna be crazy if that happens.
Did you see somebody released the numbers that Battlefield was the most viewed trailer? It was the most shared trailer or something like that. So I think everybody's going to be dodging that this year. So I think once we get that release date, then they're going to and here's Halo multiplayer.
Yeah, just from what I saw with Battlefield, it just, to me, I mean, we haven't seen Call of Duty yet, but that looked really interesting.
Wait, so we're talking about just the multiplayer or simultaneously launched with the campaign? Do we think they're going to separate it?
I know they said they didn't want to, but I feel like one of them, it has to come out this year. I cannot see Halo fall into 2020. That would be wild if it falls into 2022. So even if they run an open beta for so many months, I think it's showing up this holiday at some point. Okay. So I think I think I'm going with Nate though. Late September, early October, somewhere in there is what I'm thinking. It has to stay away from Forza. I feel like at least because. I feel like it won't be in November because they want Halo to account for a month of signups on its own. So that's kind of how I'm viewing it with them like doing Game Pass strategy with it. Stalker 2 was also shown here. Evan, you're a Stalker fan, right?
Yeah, kind
You're
of.
a stalker, right?
It's a good series. I do like the way it goes, but I don't think they've ever been able to release a completely full, unbuggy, actually not fucked up in story.
I remember it was buggy. I remember it's been buggy. Yeah,
the first one that dropped THQ basically forced them to finish it. Like they just sent a guy out who I think his only game he ever made was like a Game Boy Color game or something, and he just told them all to drop everything and finish it, and that was it. And it's kind of screwed everything.
That might have been one of the most impressive games visually I know we had Forza, but like that was pretty impressive, like from what they were showing, considering it's not like 343 or like Playground or something. That was pretty good.
You do got to be wary with it. It's always been good. Their engine that they created was the one I kind of stolen for Metro and used over there as well. But they do a lot of really cool stuff with polygon count, the way shadows are semi-transparent stuff, and they do a lot of cool stuff like that, and they show it off in every trailer for all 3 of the Stalker games that came out. They always show off the really cool looking stuff, and then you play it and you get past a certain point and the AI breaks, and I'm going into this with worry. Like it could be interesting, but they could be showing us really small slices of like, this is how we want the anomalies to work, and then it only works once when you play it, and then the rest of the time it just doesn't. So you gotta pay attention. This is going to probably be one where you're going to want to wait for reviews, honestly.
It's going to drop into Game Pass day one, so I'll probably just download it there. But if you're looking to buy it on Steam, because it's going to be on PC as well and Epic Game Store, that's not a bad idea just to wait for reviews for it.
Mechanically speaking, as a first-person shooter, though, it's really, really amazing. Like spraying bullets into a metal canister, knowing that they're going to ricochet out around in there to kill the person in there is like really cool. Or just switching to armor piercing and just shredding it through the side. Like it's really fun.
Okay. Back 4 Blood, it's going to Game Pass day one. It's the Left 4 Dead spiritual successor. It doesn't look that much different than Left 4 Dead, so if you want more Left 4 Dead, there we go.
I played it, the beta. It's identical. Like it's great though.
Okay, very good. Very good. The Contraband, which they showed a logo, and
they had some details. They had some details on that trailer, though. They had the co-op information.
It was a nice logo.
It's an open world co-op game set in a fictional version of the 70s.
Hey, that's some good information.
Gonna go to Woodstock and do a bunch of LSD.
Wow, it's like I'm really there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, they gave us a general synopsis of the game, which is better than getting nothing from these type of trailers. At least we have an idea of what Avalanche is approaching this game with as far as a vision is concerned. And they had a good soundtrack choice.
Okay. The Ascent, that's out next month on Game Pass. I'll be checking that one out. Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life. Is anyone back into Sea of Thieves at all?
No. I played it about a month ago, and it was really good, but I just can't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing with Sea of Thieves that I remember is like, I wish there was a good story mode, and this looks like it's a story mode that they added in, right?
They added a kind of story mode before this, but this looks like fully fleshed out. Yeah.
Well, I think it's perfect too, because like I have friends who are working on Sea of Thieves at the time, and like they obviously haven't been able to share it, but they've known for a while, based off of what a lot of us have said, is that we want more of a campaign, things that give a little more direction to the multiplayer. I think for me, I enjoy watching it more. It's kind of like GTA 5 Online. I enjoy watching the content that comes out of that versus me just playing it myself. But personally, I love the fact, like when the trailer first opened, I was like, that's totally not Calypso. And then you actually see, Jack Sparrow with the bone trying to bait the key from the dog. You're like, oh my God, it actually is pirates. Like, I think that was so cool to see, but I think a lot of people will pick it up because it is something that kind of drives your focus a little bit more, but like it's Pirates of the Caribbean. Like it's an iconic series at this point. Like so many of us grew up with it. Like it's freaking Johnny Depp's voice, right? Did they either that or it's an identical voice actor? I don't know.
It is
sure.
Depp.
You think? I think it's a sound alike. I can't imagine that kind of sound booth. Yeah,
I don't know. What was it? Kingdom Hearts? They couldn't get Depp back for one of them, so they had an identical voice actor.
I mean, and they do that a lot in the voice acting business. It's easier to find somebody who will sound identical but work for 1/5 the cost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I think
cool.
I think it's really cool. I debated. I'm like, maybe I want to pick this up, but we'll see.
I mean, we'll see how long the campaign is. Go ahead, Jordan.
It seems like a no-brainer idea. Like we have this big pirate game. Xbox already has a good relationship with Disney. They're offering Disney Plus all the time with Game Pass, so it's cool to see that it's going a little further than that. Like, hey, let's take one of our games that has a similar theme as one of your properties and put it together. I'm sure that was a big deal behind the scenes. So that'll be cool because there's really no definitive Pirates of the Caribbean game, at least not anymore, you know? So this is pretty cool. I think that's a good way to put some brands together.
Well, I think chat said it's literally the same voice actor from Kingdom Hearts 3. He did a good job in that game too. So yeah.